Hello YouTube, my name's Uncle Chunt, and this is a very spur-of-the-moment video that I'm going to jump into. YouTube's doing more of their restrictions and changes, and I kind of want to go over a few things as to how I feel about this and what it might mean for other people out there.
Uncle Chunt.
So the newest hot topic as far as YouTube goes is this age content restrictions going on. They're calling it age gating or age gate. I think it's just a bit silly. People are going a bit overboard in regards to what this actually means for them and their viewers and people in general. Some people think it's censorship. Some people think it's silencing a particular demographic or a minority. I for one disagree with all of that. And you could be sitting there thinking, but you're a white male, what's your problem? How dare you try and comment on this subject matter? Now I'm going to try not sound too much like a dick, but this is getting a bit ridiculous. YouTube setting up restrictions is no different than your local TV channel, your local cable network, your local theatre, your actual country's entertainment rating system. It's just like going to see an M-rated movie. People under 15 can't see it. Just like going to see an R-rated film. People under 18 can't see it. Now people are thinking YouTube age restricting people's content and channels. So YouTube already has a kids app or a kids restriction system. So kids that are viewing YouTube won't see anything that YouTube's algorithm and settings and whatever deems it too mature for that to count. Which is fine. I agree with that. I don't see a problem with that. If I had a 5-year-old kid mucking around on YouTube, all I'd want them to see is family-friendly stuff. Minecraft nonsense, or just people having good fun with no language and no sexual content, whatever, of any sort. I don't have a problem with that at all. And on top of that, this new age restrictions, the LGBTQ community are taking it upon themselves to feel offended by it, that they're being oppressed some more. There's certainly at the moment some very outspoken professional victims that are thinking that YouTube's sexist, YouTube's against minorities and blah blah blah, which is not true at all. If you look at the vast majority of YouTube's content creators, it's quite diverse. It's not a majority white, straight channel at all. Like, it's just not how it works. So they're taking it upon themselves to be offended by this change. I don't know why. Yes, your content might be restricted from viewers that are too young, or that the algorithm deems that account settings to be too young to view particular content that has to do with the LGBTQ concept and content and subject matter. Granted that all of their videos are to do with sex, their gender, of which we won't get into in this video because goddamn, what they want to call themselves that day, what sex means to them, talking about diversity and oppression. I mean, all this kind of stuff and more. Kids that are under 10, say, they really shouldn't be even talking or watching videos about this kind of stuff. I for one am for this YouTube age gating. I don't know what I'm going to stop calling it age gating. I just think it's such a stupid term, but that's what everybody's saying right now. So I'm for this change, and I don't like how YouTube has kind of tried to backpedal on their statement. They came out before saying this is supposed to be a good thing, we're supportive of everybody, but lo and behold, the professional victims out there, that's not enough for them. They still think they're being oppressed and have to fight for something that they don't need to fight for. Yes, your channel might be deemed not suitable for certain viewerships, and I agree with that. I know if I had kids, I wouldn't want them to be stumbling across most of those channels. I just want to say what I really want to say right now. I believe that this content should be restricted. Just let kids be kids without coming across such topics at a young age, and that are also very impressionable. Kids shouldn't be worried about such things. They shouldn't be exposed to more mature themes that early. I don't agree with that at all. They are too young to understand what the topic is, and they're too young to process such emotions for a start. You'd think that the LGBT community would understand this, since most of them would be saying, I knew at an early age what I was, or I kind of had an idea young, blah blah blah, or it was into my teens when I realized, blah blah blah. Like, you think you'd understand and wouldn't be jumping off the gun like this. This isn't to oppress you, although I know many of you feel like you are being oppressed, but that's not the case. This isn't censorship, this is an option. You can turn restricted mode off. So those who have control of their own YouTube channel, they can turn off such restrictions, and they'll be free to view such content in future. It's not a big deal. It's really not. As I said, I know my kids won't be exposed to such topics in the future at such an early age. I'll be trying to shield them from as much of the world as possible, so they have the ability to find themselves in their own time without such outside forces, I don't know, misconstruing their perception of things, or before they can actually learn or properly appreciate such things. If they can be more learned within themselves first, and then maybe when they're older, as they're growing up with people in social circles, they can start formulating their own opinion of these kind of things. That's just what I'm going to do. You might think that's not the best way to raise a kid in this modern time, but I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you in there. I mean, this goes the same for excessive violence and gore and language in content, movies and cartoons and shows, and so I'm just trying to build my stance in this particular topic. Like, I know when I was 11, my biggest worry or stress in life was getting home from school so I can play Super Nintendo. You know, I had nothing like this kind of stuff on my mind. I didn't have any of this forced upon me, or I didn't have to accept things. I didn't have to deal with such mature themes and topics. I was being a kid. I was running around enjoying myself, and no responsibilities, no stress, no nothing. And I've just noticed, just from being an outside viewer of kids, younger generations growing up beneath me, beneath me is probably not the best word, but just that are younger than me, coming up of age, and goddamn, it's such a complicated way to be these days. Like, I don't even know if I want to have kids if they're gonna have to grow up with all these things to worry about, and worrying about who they're going to offend, or their opinions might get them bashed up, or they might be social outcasts just for trying to be normal. It's a volatile thing. I know it's not probably supposed to be, but just from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be a very comfortable space to be growing up in today. Having things forced upon you to accept. Those things should be coming from a personal point of view, and they shouldn't be forced upon. They should be coming from the person in their own time, with their own values and with their own knowledge. I don't agree with how a lot of these people, especially the vocal minority of these groups, forcing these views on people in society. It just, you can't force these things. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just saying, this content restriction's good. Kids should be allowed to be kids. It doesn't happen a lot these days. There's a lot of bad things in the world. There's a lot of bad things on YouTube that kids can come across. God knows I found myself in the darkest points of YouTube by mistake. My restrictions are all off, and I don't go searching out those kinds of things, but eventually they start appearing in my recommended section. So I know if I'm finding these things and I don't want to see them, I'm definitely not going to want my kids to see them. So I applaud YouTube for putting in this age restrictions. I think it's a great thing. It's not censorship, it's an option. Parents should be putting these options on, or making their own calls. They're raising their own kids. Hopefully they're making the right decisions and restricting their kids' channels. They shouldn't be allowed to roam free on YouTube. There is so much stuff that they shouldn't be seeing at such a young age on YouTube. A lot of things get taken down off YouTube, a lot of the wrong things, but there's plenty of things on YouTube that stay there, and I don't know how. I've seen a lot of nudity, I've seen a lot of gore, I've seen a lot of violence on YouTube, but then you get people that are trying to upload stuff about, trying to voice their opinions on struggles they've tried to deal with, or trying to send out good messages, and for some reason they've had keywords in there, and the video gets taken down somehow. But there's all this other garbage that stays on there, like assassinations, people shooting themselves live on TV. I've seen all this kinds of stuff on YouTube. So it's a very dark place, and all these things about internal conflicts of sexual preferences, how people identify themselves these days. Kids that are 10 years old, I'm repeating myself now, but kids that are 10 years old, they shouldn't be dealing with those kinds of things, like, really. And I don't know, but I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of impressionable kids out there that are thinking this is the way it is, and they're seeing all their friends or their people on YouTube their age going through these things, or I guess joining in, not to be too cynical, but joining in with this kind of craze, and following suit and saying, yes, I identify as such and such. Whereas there's legit people that are dealing with these internal struggles every day, that I feel like those people that are kind of jumping on that kind of bandwagons are kind of making them look real bad. So I feel sorry for them. So look, it's a real mixed bag. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate on this video, but I just feel like I want to voice my opinion on it, be it as it may. But I don't agree with this outrage culture. I'm so sick of it. I haven't uploaded a lot because of that outrage culture. Like, every time I log on to social media, it's everywhere. A lot of YouTube content creators I subscribe to, they're sick of it because they're uploading videos about it. And some of my friends that we used to try and be involved in this and enjoy this industry, and we're kind of had a gutful because of these people outraging over everything. And especially now with this most recently with Colin Moriarty and kind of funny with his joke. His tweet, that joke was hilarious. I don't care what anyone says. It wouldn't have worked any other day if not on International Women's Day. That was hilarious. And I'm not going to apologize for that. It was funny as. So, Colin, round of applause, sticking for your guns. Greg Miller and kind of funny, boo to you for not sticking by your man. And giving into the PC wave that was coming your way. I'm allowed to be sick of this stuff. It's not being insensitive, not at all. So actually, a vast majority of my social circles do have members of, the gay community in them. And I don't hate them at all. I'm not spiteful towards them at all. I'm entitled to my own beliefs. And this is one of them. So, the LGBTQ community. God, that's hard to say. Hopefully there's not any more letters on that going forward, but I understand. You probably don't have a problem with this either. You probably understand if you value kids' minds and letting them be kids. I'm sure you wish that for them. And people that are going to go through those things will go through them in their own time. It should not be forced upon them. They should come across this on their own. And that's just how I feel on it. So let kids be kids. Let them view YouTube without any of this noise that they shouldn't have to deal with until they're a bit older. I don't see there's anything wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with that, then that's your own problem. Hopefully when you decide to have a kid, which you'd have to adopt, that you don't try and enforce those values on them. They can learn it themselves, because you learnt it yourself as well with your struggles. So look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm an expert on this subject. I'm just a person in the world voicing my opinion. You might think it's wrong, and that's okay. This is my opinion, and I think it's right because it feels right to me, and I'm putting it out there on my channel. So if I get a lot of hate my way or whatever, so be it. Colin Moriarty and other people in the world have kind of made me want to stand up for my belief system more these days, and I think that's a good thing to have. I don't hate anyone. I don't want to bring hate upon anybody. Live your life as is, but when you have systems in place like YouTube, which is a privately owned business, instilling their own security measures and restrictions, you have to respect it. It's their company. They don't owe you anything. You're using their platform so deal with it. If you wish to use and comply with YouTube's terms and conditions, you'll just have to suck it up, unfortunately. They will change this whenever they want, as they always have. So that's just how it is, unfortunately. Anyway, look, without rambling on too much further, it's late. I just wanted to get a quick video out and just get this stuff out of my head, because it's a little annoying to me. Just enjoy yourselves. Those that want to find you will. They will find your channels, they'll find your videos, they will take the restrictions off their account in order to find such things should they need to. The people that will find your channels will want to be there anyway, so it shouldn't really be too much of a problem for you. Anyway, I'm done. I'm gonna play some more Zelda, so toodaloos.